Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, the sound is good. I am a little bit early getting on live, trying to wait until the audience comes in. Mm, I don't like this circle. Ah, here we go. Mm, 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 mm. I was playing around with the styles, and I think I like this one, just the normal one better. Okay, everyone, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I just got back from Utah for my company had a huge summit with people all over the world who work remotely to come and celebrate. Every year we do it, and it was amazing. I got so many gifts. I'm so grateful. I got a I got a super cool backpack with lots of straps and buckles and compartments that will definitely come in handy for my travels. I got a nice blanket. I got a nice hoodie that's going to come in handy for the fall. And I also got a really nice bonus. And I was talking to my mother yesterday about just the importance of gratitude because when our president announced the bonus, so many people in the room were furious because apparently many, many years ago, the bonus was more. And just that feeling of like, we don't want this. And for me, new coming in, I'm like, yeah, this is wonderful. I am so happy to have this bonus. So, yeah, gratitude is super, super important. And Salt Lake City is gorgeous. The elevation is so beautiful. I was a bit out of breath, but yeah, Salt Lake City, Utah is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So, really happy to have had the opportunity to visit there. Um, my mom worked for the same school, so she was back and forth in Salt Lake City all the time, but it's nice to be able to go and see what all the fuss is about. So that was really nice. So, thank you for the thank you guys so much for the support of the channel. Thank you guys for the cash apps, the super thanks, subscribers. I am so close to 2,000 subscribers, and I could just taste it. But for some reason, it's like going up and then going down. So I'm gonna have to do something really special for 2,000 subscribers. So I'm really excited to get there, and on my journey towards monetization. That's always nice. It's nice to get up here and talk about remote work and having a more balanced, easier life and travel and slow travel and flex padding lifestyle. But definitely having another stream of income is going to be so great. I could definitely use it. I think we all can in this economy. So, absolutely. I am going to try to I'm in StreamYard and I'm just playing around with the different features and I just okay, so I got into this weird area and started playing around with it. So now I have a banner and a live signifier on the screen that I don't know how to remove at the moment. But today should be a really, really nice show. I got my girl Khalida hopefully coming on. She has made the move to the UK and she is loving it. And it'll be nice to talk to her again and see if everything is working out and if she's loving it and what are the pros and the cons. So I'm really excited about that as well. And just preparing for the retreat in October. I have been, just busy making a lot of promotional videos, talking to friends and family about it, advertising. And it's been a lot of work, but it's been fun work. So I think that's the difference. And when I enjoy what I'm doing, I have so much energy for it. And when I don't, I just don't. So right now, I am working on getting um, some nice things for the gift bags. One of my guests has these awesome journals. This one is the Little Black Journal of Gratitude. Oh, hey, Khalida is here. So I am going to invite her up in just a second. Okay. All right. Hey, girl. Hey, Salam alaikum, Khalida. How are you?
Alaikum salam. I'm good. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, it is good to see your face, and it looks like some sunlight is still out. So I've caught you in the while there's still sun around. That is so
Yeah,
great.
Maghrib is, what time is Maghrib here? Let me just double check so I'm not telling you a lie.
Probably
Maghrib
in an
is,
hour.
yeah, Maghrib is at 8:30. Um,
Okay.
which it's getting later because when I first got here, it was like
hmm
9 o'clock.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Well, I am so happy that we get to do this again because the first one was so good, like one of my most popular interviews. So I'm really happy that you have agreed to come back and give us an update on your life and what's been going on. So let me go ahead and introduce you. Khalida Bilal is a life coach, abundance teacher, and adventurous spirit who recently embraced a bold new chapter, moving to England. Unafraid and bold to start fresh, she combines her passion for helping others with her charity Kindred Baraka, all while finding creative ways to live well and affordably like house sitting. Khalida is committed to living a life of ease, cultivating meaningful relationships, and showing others that it's never too late to rewrite your story. So, everyone that's on, please feel free to drop questions in the chat. That makes the interview so much more fun and interactive. So, Khalida, I was raised in Houston, and every time I go back, I feel like I'm in a different city. I don't know what the heck is going on. New buildings, new people, new restaurants. What has it been like for you going back to live in England after all this time? Has it been a culture shock, or are you kind of just sliding right into the groove of things?
I mean, well, I've been coming and going over the years, right? So I have watched the change. I've watched my mom's area, which is Wembley, right? And I've watched Wembley change from a suburb of London into being, an extension of London, right?
Mm,
So I've seen the expansion, parking lots growing, turning into apartment buildings. So that part of it really wasn't a surprise. um Obviously that's still happening, right? Buildings are going up everywhere, new roads are being built. It's really crazy how much things have
mm.
changed.
Mhm,
um,
mhm,
so yeah, that for me hasn't been so much of a shock. I think the biggest thing for me has been how much it's changed in terms of getting a job and working. You know what I mean? Right?
Mm.
There's been
Is
so
it
many.
harder or easier?
Oh my gosh, so much harder. Like,
Mm.
when I was here years ago, right, you could just, people, you could just get a job as a care worker, working in an old people's home or working in a mental health, you could just get a job really, really easy because that was like the bottom of the totem pole type job,
Mhm.
you know?
Entry level, yeah.
Yeah, and so you just, but now nope.
Mm.
Like I have, because I figured, oh well, I'll just sign on with a couple of agencies and wait until December, wait until September, and then I can, do supply teaching. But every agency that I've, so I kept on applying for these agencies and applying, and they were like, nope, nope, nope. And so eventually someone stopped and took the time to tell me, as agencies, they can't send people into these roles unless they have a minimum of 3 years experience, right?
Wow,
So,
wow.
yeah, like, forget it. I can't get
Mm.
anything like that. And then because of, the way that you have immigration and, you've got all this, because even here in England, you have all this to do with, immigration and refugees and blah, 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 right? A
Mhm.
whole nother story. But so for everything, you have to show proof of residence. You know what I mean, right?
Mm.
Even just like signing up with a doctor, you have to bring your passport to sign up with the doctor. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
that has been very interesting to see how everything is so tightened up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I would have thought healthcare over there would be it's, one of the saving graces because, we always hear about the NHS and how much better it is and, how ease of access and everyone, will get the healthcare they need. But it's sounding like things are, cracking down and getting tighter.
Well, I mean, like, if you're a resident, if you're,
Mhm.
and you're entitled to it, then you can get it, right?
Mhm.
But what they're
Mhm.
doing is, they're making sure that if you're not entitled to it, then you're not going to get it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Right? So, like,
Mhm.
everything that you do, you have to prove residency. Oops, sorry.
No, no worries, girl.
Go,
Take
crap.
care of it. So
Camera.
basically, it's not like, we'll take care of you first and ask questions later. It's like you
Nope.
come in with a broken leg. We need to see the documentation. Sorry,
Yeah.
your leg is hurting.
Yes. Yes. Everything is,
Mhm.
everything is so much, and I mean, I guess I get it in one sense. I get it. You have a system that is very strained, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so they want to make sure that you know people are not taking getting benefits that they are not entitled to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's true. Every country has to look out for its citizens first.
Right.
It's just the way the world is coming to all over, even in some of the awesome countries of the world like Malaysia and, some other countries, they have to make sure you are who you say you are. So,
Hmm.
absolutely understood and understandable.
Yeah.
So, anything else that is surprising about the UK, the food scene, the Muslim scene, anything that you find to be better than when you left or worse than when you left?
Well, I think it's really cool that you can get halal meat in, like, any kind of area that has a lot of Muslims in them, right?
Mhm,
You're gonna go
mhm,
to Tesco's or Sainsbury's, like the local supermarkets, and they'll have a whole halal section. Do you know what I mean? So that's really nice to see, right? I mean, I think that that was kind of developing, years ago, but
Yes.
now it's, I remember when Sainsbury's first got halal meat, it was like, halal meat in Sainsbury's, but now that's kind of like standard, every supermarket, Asda, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, they've all got their halal section if they're in an area where they're, if they're in like the London or suburbs of London, So that's nice. You got, Muslims are moving out into, because before they were only in the like the city areas,
Mm.
but now
Mhm.
you're seeing them out more in the rural areas. So it's nice to see Muslims spreading out. It's
That is nice.
disappointing. It's, I went to Jummah on Friday, right?
Mm.
And
I was going to say that because just, full disclosure, we come from a community in Texas that we've got some heavy hitters, Omar Suleiman, Numan Ali Khan, Yasir Birjas, Yasir Qadi, and the list, Abdullah Odoru. We have basically, she has come from the hub of Islamic knowledge. And, so moving to the UK, I was going to ask, that was one of my questions. What is the masjid scene like? What is the Muslim community scene like? And don't cry.
so, I remember when I first became a Muslim, you know, I experienced going to this masjid. Me and my friends, we were on the road a lot, and we were out up north somewhere, and we were on the road, and we went to this masjid, and they all, they almost had a heart attack because it was women walking into the masjid because they were Pakistanis, and they just don't have women in the masjid. But that was like over 30 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Right. So where I am right now, I'm kind of like out of the city of London. I'm not, like last week, what I did was I drove over to my side, over to my old stomping grounds, and I went to Juma there. But this week I kind of like procrastinated, and then just last minute Googled the masjid. So, got to the masjid thinking I was getting there early, and, the brother was like, "Are you coming to the masjid?"
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "No, not today.
Not
We
today.
don't, not today. You can't come today. We don't have, not on Fridays. You can come any other day of the week, but just not on Fridays." Like, what?
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 Girl, where are you?
Oh my God. I was so crushed. I was like, you have got
Oh,
to be kidding me.
oh
No, no.
no.
So, I was like,
And she's from a city, y'all, where we have sometimes three separate khutbas because it's packed in our major masajid. Like, it get used to having, would you say about 500 people coming to Juma prayer,
yeah,
at each, in each iteration. So,
Juma's like Eid, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
that was very disappointing. And then,
Mhm.
so I drove over to another masjid that's in the local area, and they did have a sister section. And then the brother came on, right? And oh my God, like Juma was done in 15 minutes.
Oh,
Kupa,
wow.
everything. Like, I was like,
He's following the sunnah. He said, I'm following it to the T.
I was so heartbroken. I was like, note to self, Khalida, you got to be intentional about Juma. You can't just
Mm,
like, you can't just like go somewhere and get a Juma. You know what I mean? So
mhm,
yeah, that's been a bit
mhm.
disappointing. That
Yes,
was, you
that's
know,
definitely a downgrade from, the Texas Muslim scene and community.
yeah.
But on the other hand, you're gaining so much. So I wanted to talk to you about, reconnecting and building those relationships with your family, with your grandchildren, with your loved ones. How has that process been?
I see there's a question there. Is there anything like repatriation
Oh,
process?
yes, that is Deep Work Haven. She is one of the guests that I had on the show. Thank you for reminding me. We we have gotten your journals. They're so cool. I'm loving it. Barakallahu fiki. So yes, is there anything like a repatriation process in the UK, like, like we have in the West Indies?
No, I just came home. You know, that
Hmm.
I just, I got a British passport, so I just walked in through
Hmm.
the through the customs, and I just need to just go sign back up for everything. I mean, certain
Hmm.
things like I can't just go sign on to unemployment, right? Because I haven't been working and paying into the system. So I can't just go
Mm,
sign on and get benefits. I don't
right.
think I haven't tried, but I wouldn't think that I would be able to do that. But I mean, really, you just come home. That's it. So,
And what
but
about for other people who might be descendants of UK citizens but maybe have lived elsewhere?
so if you are one step removed,
Hmm.
right, um, then you can get citizenship by
Descent.
you descent, right? So, one of the things I made sure that when I had my children, I had both of them in the UK, right? So that my children can hand down citizenship to their children, right?
Got
Because
you.
you can get you can inherit well, you used to be able to. I don't know if that's changed, because things are changing all the time, but as far as I know, you can do that, right? So
That's
if you
wonderful.
are descent of someone who is UK born, then you can get citizenship from them. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I know you kind of did it the other way, if I'm not mistaken, because a lot of us, our parents were the Windrush generation, and a lot of them, when they came to the US or the UK, they kind of left or kind of, didn't really value their Grenadian or Jamaican citizenship, and now we as the kids were like, how do I get that back? So I know that for you, it was a really a simple process. So you do have your Jamaican citizenship and passport, correct?
Yeah, I say it's
Hmm.
expired. I need to renew it, but yes, I did
Hmm.
get my Jamaican citizenship, and that was pretty easy. I just had to show them that I had to just produce my mother's birth certificate, right,
Mm,
to prove that my mother was a Jamaican citizen, and then they gave me my Jamaican citizenship. So it was a very easy process. And again, that
mm.
was something I did like a long time ago, like maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago, something like
Right,
that. Yeah.
right, right. That's really good. That is really good that you had one of those families that, was proud of their citizenship and didn't just say, "Hey, we're in the UK now. Forget the past."
But I think that
You know.
people in the I think that that's been the difference with here in the UK, right?
Mhm.
People really do hold on to their heritage. Do you know what I mean,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
Jamaicans are Jamaicans, and Africans are Africans, and Asians are, so everybody really holds on to their culture,
Mhm.
and they know their heritage, right? That was one of the things that when I came to America, I thought that was really strange when I asked a black person, "Where are you from?" And they were like, "Here." I'm
Mm.
American. I'm like, "Yeah, but
Mhm.
where's your parents from?" They're like, "America." "Well, where's your grandparents from?" "America." That was really strange because here in England, I came from a place where your mom was from Jamaica, or your dad was from Africa, or your mom was from Pakistan. Like you could, if it wasn't your parents, it was your grandparents that was
Yes,
from somewhere,
yes.
you
We
know?
were we were given the privilege to firmly hold on to our roots that a lot of African Americans were sadly just not, you
Yeah.
know? So it is definitely a privilege and a blessing.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm.
So, one of the huge points of this channel is remote work. And it is just a love of my life to get my loved ones, my friends, and help them get on to remote work and just live a better life, a more slow paced life. So, without getting too much into the shenanigans that we did with Pearson, tell me a little bit about your experience with Pearson working remote, and if you ever think that you want to try that again in the UK.
Well, Pearson does have positions here in the UK, and I was trying to do that, and when there was some kind of blocker that I had trying to do it from America, so that is on my list of things to do, right?
Yay! I'm glad
To
you're not giving up on that remote possibility. Yes.
no, Pearson, they because they do grading here as well, right? So I am hoping that because I already have a profile with Pearson, that when I now that I'm here, when I apply here, because it's all like your IP addresses and they know where you are.
Oh, yeah, they know.
So, now what I'm gonna do is apply for an English position here, and hopefully I should be able to get it. I've also been this last couple of week I've applied for some online tutoring positions, and
Wonderful.
so I'm just waiting to hear back from them as well. Apparently, there is quite a market for special needs tutoring. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I can get in on something like that, get a gig like that. 'Cause I'm
Yay.
really not trying to do
I
anything.
know in the beginning when I got you on and it was the calibration process, you were like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Mhm.
Here's this tip, that
Yeah.
tip, this shenanigans, and then you were just scoring like crazy. So, what were some of? I know that we had our talks about some of the lows of Pearson. It seems like they cracked down in one of those scoring events and kind of
Yeah.
had you as a child in there.
Yeah, so now what they're doing, Pearson, because and these are all the positions that I got offered this summer. That's why I didn't take any of them, is that they're offering you it's a 40-hour week, right? And they want you logging on at a certain time, normally about 8 o'clock, and you work until 4 with a 30-minute lunch. And
Crazy,
yeah,
crazy.
and you have to you can not have your camera on, right? But you're logged into like a main forum where they can
Mm.
see you, right? And then they're also taking note of how much you're scoring per minute, right? How
Oh,
many papers
wow.
you're scoring per minute. So, like you've got numbers. If you're not scoring enough papers, then your supervisor will come on and she'll be like, you know, you're not working fast enough, right? Or if you score too many papers wrong, then they'll take you off to the side. And so it was last summer, my work with Pearson, it was a lot different from how it used to be. It was
Mm.
kind of like uh I mean, yeah, it was remote, right? And I mean, if you got like a little laptop and stuff like that, I guess you can walk around the house with it and everything. But it was still very oppressive. And if you did want to take time off,
Yes.
that was another issue because you had to log a certain amount of hours, right? So you had to like be the training, you couldn't miss any of the training. If you missed any of the training, that was it. You
Mm.
couldn't get onto the actual scoring, right? And then when you did get onto the scoring, it was kind of like can I leave early, or do you know what I mean? It was, yeah.
Wow, so different. So
Mhm.
different. But yeah, so for all of those who are asking in the comments, is this Pearson opportunity real? Yes, it is real. I have a real life person who made use of it, who took the calibration, passed calibration, started scoring, and who's even saying that there is some England opportunities for scoring. So
Yeah.
that
Pearson is international, so
Pearson
you
is
can,
everywhere.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes,
And I mean,
indeed.
the the pay is okay, right? You're
Mhm.
going to get your check. You're not going to have any problems with getting your check at the end of your 2 weeks, right? So, there's that. But yeah,
Absolutely, but it's an entry level position. You get
yes.
in, get your money, you go, and it can, keep the roof over your head, keep the AC running.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. So, my next question is, as far as running your nonprofit, Kindred Baraka, looking for work, looking for possible remote opportunities, and planning this UK retreat, what does your day-to-day, schedule look like, finding opportunities, finding work, and also working on your baby, Kindred Baraka?
So, yeah. Well, Kendra Baraka, a lot of the things that happen with Kendra Baraka, because I'm 6 hours ahead, right?
Mhm.
So, I normally wake up to messages or whatever, that I've gotten from yesterday. So I'm still doing appeals for people. I'm still working on, supporting people. That's not nothing's really skipped a beat there. I have someone who is over in Texas, so I'll generally just, say, oh, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? So fundraising and everything, that's still going on. That's still happening. Alhamdulillah. I was scared. I thought people might slow down because I'm not there and be like, oh yeah, no, she don't need it no more.
Yeah, that's
But
always a concern.
yeah,
Mhm.
but that's still been going on. Um, in terms of my end of life care, um, I felt a bit bad because someone reached out to me
Mm.
because a sister had passed away in Fort Worth and they were looking for help. And by the time I got the message, they had already sorted it out. So there was a bit of a time lag in that. So, the time difference has got an impact, right?
Absolutely.
um
Absolutely.
I'm not so like immediately there anymore, right?
Right,
so
right.
so
You
that
might be in the dead of sleep when this happens. So
right,
if
exactly.
you're really gonna have to, I know type A personalities have a hard time with letting go of a little bit of that control.
Yeah.
So it seems
Well,
like
no.
you're handling it well.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
definitely. Actually would like to give them more control, and they're like, no.
Wow. Wow, that is surprising
So
because,
yeah,
definite yeah.
but yeah.
So as far as house sitting, there are many ways that you can utilize house sits. You can luxury sit in beautiful houses while exploring new cities and traveling the world. But you have a really cool way of utilizing house sitting. So tell me about your house sitting strategy and how that's been working out in the UK.
Well, so I think I told you on my last when we would last spoke that, for me, I didn't really want to be spending hundreds and thousands on rent every month, right? So what I did was I chose the house sitting, pet sitting route. So basically, I've been very strategic in applying for sits. And for the most part, I leave one sit and go to the next sit, right? But like this sit finishes tomorrow.
Right.
Um, and then I have So I have Monday night and Tuesday night where I don't have a sit, and then I go to a sit on Wednesday, right? So what I'm going to do is tomorrow I'll go over to my mom's, spend a couple of nights with my mom, help her around the house. I have a few appointments that I need to take care of over on that side. I'll do that. And then I'm going to go on to my next sit, right? So
Absolutely.
so right now I'm I have sits that are booked right up until, I want to say, the retreat in October, right? And then I'm kind of really booked up until November when I come back to the States, because I plan
That's
to be back in the
amazing.
States in November. And so now what I'm working on is filling up my sits for December. So I just apply for sits, and basically I'm very strategic. Like when I apply for a sit, like what kind of pet is it? If they don't have pet cat sits and I'm applying for a dog sit, then I want to think about, well, how big is the dog, right? It's better to get smaller dogs. You can research the breed and see, is it like a yappy dog? Is it a calm dog? Are they obedient dogs? Do you know what I mean? And then you look at the reviews. What do people say about the place where you're going to go sit, and the animals? You know what I mean? So you take all of those things into consideration before you go ahead and you apply for the sit, right? And then so on a daily basis, kind of going back to your question before, every day when I wake up, I spend like maybe 30 minutes or so looking through the sits, right? I have searches that are saved with certain dates. So trusted house sitters, they will let me know when new sits come in, and I'll go online and I'll check them out. And if they're ones that I want to apply for, then I'll apply for them. So I probably apply for like maybe 3 to 5 sits a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
With those dates. And then if I get a sit and the other sits that I've applied for with those dates, then I just withdraw my application for the
The
other
other
ones.
ones.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful strategy. And how much money do you think you've saved so far just not paying rent, not paying a mortgage, and just using house sitting as your room and board?
I mean, if you rent a room, it's my mom rents a room in her house for £800 a month,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So I've been here a month, right? So at the very least, if I only had a room, right, that's £800 that I would have spent. You know what I mean?
That is so great, and that's money you can be stacking for the
Hmm.
future, and it's just such an awesome strategy. I
Yeah,
think that more people should jump on this. This is such a great strategy, so clever.
yeah.
And
I
so
mean,
what are your tips? Like, what are the must do's, must not do's, and some of the mistakes along the way that you've made and you've learned from?
ooh, okay. So first of all, you have to be very organized, right? Um, so for me, what I use is I use the packing cubes that you can get, right? And I have my clothes are kind of separated into hijabs, underwears, like whatever. So I have
Mhm.
them in packing. I have my stuff in packing cubes, and then I put them in these cloth, those foldable boxes that have handles. So
Yes.
I'll put all my stuff in there, right? I have them like sat upwards, right? So I can just, like, they have handles. I can just take them in and out of the car. One of the boxes that I have is just full of crazy stuff that, most of the time you feel, why do I need this? Like, I have a flashlight, I have a first aid kit, I've got, like, pods for washing my clothes, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And you never know when you, like, the other day I had to pull out my flashlight because I had to go
Mm.
into the garden and it was dark, and I was like, so glad I got a little flashlight with me. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I just have like a box of household things that I might need, scissors, nail clips, all that kind of stuff, right? And so that is something also that just lives in and out of the car, right? I have my own seasonings. I have a thing that I just sit on the countertop, which just it has like four drawers, and I have like my seasonings, my vitamins, my grains,
Beautiful.
just
Yeah.
all the kind of things, that I think I will need, right? I make sure that I have all of them. I make my own ghee, right? So I'll make my ghee, and I have my little mason jar that sits in one of those drawers, right? So, very organized. So getting in and out of houses is really easy, you know. Um, One of the things I did as well is I have like a sleeping bag liner.
Mm.
Not because I feel like ooh at anybody's house, but for me it's about being able to have that comfortable sleep, right? And so when I get inside the sleeping liner and I have my little blankie, um, you know, I have a blanket. And so when I put those things on me, right, I feel like I'm in my bed. I don't
Absolutely.
feel like I'm
Yes.
in someone else's bed, right? And so I can have a good night's sleep, right? So those I have like a little travel iron because not everybody has an iron, right? I ended up having to buy a travel iron because I had sat at somebody's house and they didn't have an iron, or maybe they did, but I couldn't find it, and I wasn't going to go searching all through people's houses. So
Before we were friends, you used to get on me about not ironing my clothes. Do you remember that? It was like 15 years ago. You'd be like, "Girl, you gotta iron your clothes." I was like, "I never ironed in my life." You're like, "You got to."
the
So I
washing
know that
machine thing.
you're serious about being crispy. So I respect that.
Yeah. So those are some things that, definitely be organized. This
Mhm.
sit that I'm doing now. So this this dog Swanson, he is a Newfoundland. He is massive. Like when he stands up, he's at my waist,
He
right?
looks like those rescue dogs that you see in the Alps with the little thing around their neck saving people's
Yes.
lives. He's so
Oh
cute.
my God. But he dribbles, right? So then when he shakes his head, it just goes splashing everywhere. And I'm like, note to self, no more Newfoundlands.
He's a gentle giant. He is so,
He's
so sweet.
lovely. He's so lovely, but he needs a jug underneath his
Ugh.
face, right? You know,
Uh,
uh, so that's something that, it's been an experience, and I've, it's I don't think I wouldn't pick a dog big again. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Even though
mhm.
he's old, so he's not too crazy. Do you know what I mean? I only have to walk him for 30 minutes. And he really is a gentle giant. He's such a lovely
Yeah.
soul,
But now you know your boundaries. You know, like I prefer not. As cute and as calm as he is, I want a dog next time that's more manageable.
Yeah,
So
and one that
absolutely.
doesn't drool so much. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, and because like I mean, the thing is that okay, I need to make sure that when I make salat, right, I don't have all that drool on me because it's the
Mhm.
drool that will nullify my salat, right?
Right.
So like I have clothes that I wear when I'm around him, right? And clothes that like I pray upstairs in the bedroom. He doesn't go in the bedroom or anything like that, right? But that's something that I had to be very conscious of, right? That this dog is drooling everywhere, you know what I mean, right?
Mm,
So
mhm.
that's something that I would definitely say, you need to be very much, research the animal that you're going to sit for, you know.
Right. Well, as somebody who just kind of sticks to the luxury sits and just cats and birds and fish, it's really nice to know that, wow, if things get bad, I can switch to this different strategy and I'll be all right, inshallah. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing that.
Yeah,
So
and there's a
when
lot of
I
pet sits as well, because most of my sits, I have like about 10 sits lined
Mhm.
up. Because what I do
Mhm.
as well is I make sure that my sits are long sits. Like, so you can get like 2, 3 day sits. I don't apply for those. My sits are a minimum of 5 days, right? 5 days and up, you know? But there are a lot of people that do cat sits as well. So most of them,
Mhm.
I think I only
Mhm.
have like 2 or 3 cat sits out of 10. The rest of them are all, sorry, 2 or 3 dog sits out
Right,
of
right.
10. Most of them are cat sits.
That's excellent. That is excellent. So when I think of a life of ease, I think of being in the islands, eating my salt fish and my, roti and curry chicken and lying on the beach and soaking up the sun. So as someone that's moved back to England with a different climate, different people, different culture, totally different culture, how do you develop ease in your life and how do you make things easier for yourself?
So, definitely for me, I'm not trying to do anything stressful, right? I really I just can't. I can't even thinking about stressful things stresses me out. Like thinking about
Mhm.
being stressed out makes me stressed out. So,
Yes.
like I said, for me, pet sitting takes the stress of the financial stress off of me. You
Oh
know,
gosh, yes.
I I get up in the morning, I make salah, and then I do what I'm doing. I don't really start doing my day until like maybe around 10 o'clock. And then because I do want to I'm working on my portfolio for my instructional design. I attend workshops online, you know um and I really just make sure that whatever else I'm doing, I'm still doing me, right? um
Absolutely.
so come September, I will start, if I haven't gotten any tutoring, then I will go back into doing supply teaching. But I'm very clear on the fact that it will be supply work. I do not intend to go back into the classroom on a, I'm the teacher of this classroom basis. So it's
Mhm.
really just about respecting yourself, right? And honoring your goals, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
for me, I have to remind myself that, I went and got a master's degree in instructional design so that I could be an instructional designer. Well, in order for me
Mhm.
to realize that, then what I have to do is build my portfolio, right? And that takes time and effort, And so what I do is make sure that on a daily basis, I put in at least an hour to 2 hours minimum work every day on my portfolio, as well as whatever else I might be doing.
That takes incredible discipline. I applaud you because sometimes we feel like once we go in, we get the degree, okay, now we can just sit back and the jobs will come rolling towards you. But
Yeah.
you're actively building your portfolio, which now that I think about it, really the university should have had you doing that simultaneously. But regardless, you're doing the work, you're jumping into workshops, and you're not just relying on your laurels and your degrees. You're actually getting the skills. Here, let me show you what I've done. So
Yeah.
that's scary and that's really brave. So I applaud you for that. Absolutely. So when
Yeah.
I think of the region of the world you're in, girl, I'm thinking Portugal, I'm thinking Spain, I'm thinking Turkey, I'm even thinking the UAE. What are some destinations now that you are, across the pond? What are some destinations that you're looking forward to traveling to now that you're a little bit closer?
Well, my friend, she goes to Turkey all the time because her son lives in Turkey, so she has a room in Turkey. So I think Turkey is first on the agenda, right? And Possibly Spain, because I have a friend who is, you know, always posting on Facebook.
Mm,
She's in Spain, so I'll
mhm.
probably reach out to her and see how she's doing in Spain as well. So, yeah, I think Turkey and Spain are the first on the agenda. But if an opportunity comes for me to go to Umrah, I'll be there too. And people go to Dubai from here like it's like they're going
Like
shopping.
nothing.
Yeah,
Like
like
nothing.
you know,
Absolutely.
they go to Dubai like how people go to New York. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
like don't be surprised if, you call me and I'm in Dubai.
I won't as long as you bring me back something nice. I'll be happy.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for hopping on and doing this again. Any last words, last plugs for our retreat, or anything that you want to end off the interview with?
Well, I want to encourage people to sign up for the retreat. Um, it is going to be amazing. I am so excited for it. We have our driver booked to take us to all these fantastic places. We have a sister who hikes that area, so she knows all the good trails to go on. So we've got a hiker scheduled for the people who want to hike. We got a driver scheduled for to go on all our trips. And let's not forget the fact that you're going to come and spend a week learning about the archetypes of abundance and what is blocking your blessings, because we all have them. We all have that little whisper in our head. We all have those voices that holds us back. And so we're going to discover which ones are ours and how we can overcome those voices and actually open ourselves up to living in this abundance. So
Mm.
yeah, the 7th of October to the 14th of October, be there or be square.
Oh, I cannot wait. My mother and I are shopping. We're planning getting our little raincoats and our boots and just so, so excited and so grateful. So, yes, information will be in the description box. Please register for your 5% discount and let's do it. Let's have some fun and let's learn. All
Yeah,
right. Oh, F1 Deep Work Haven. I am so so blessed that I have mutuals on YouTube where we just are so aligned. We all have the desire to live a life of ease, to live more intentionally, to focus on the things that truly matter, which is our relationship with God and family and loved ones and friends. And
yeah,
that's what it's all about, whether you're in, Dubai, like deep work, or you're in the UK or you're in Texas, we
yeah.
all have those things connecting us.
Deep work.
So
You need to come and check us out. You're only a hop, skip away from us. Come to our retreat.
deep work's right around the corner.
Mhm.
Yes,
Inshallah.
yes. And we're going to be handing out her journals
There you
and
go.
yeah, so definitely, please, please, if you can come, it'll be so nice to meet my internet buddies in person. Yes. Inshallah, we'll be doing the islands, the West Indies, we'll be doing Hawaii. Come on. We might even have to do Dubai.
Inshallah. Might have to do Dubai.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Assalamu alaikum. Bye.